Yes, I literally have been doing that all day long. In anticipation for this blood video. In this video, we're going to be going over different types of blood. I'm done. Or am I? No. Oh, that is really attractive, Lex. Thank you. First off, I want to say thank you to Graftobian for gifting me all this blood so that way I could show you guys all the different kinds of blood. When it comes to effects for Halloween, Graftobian is pretty much the brand that I've worked with, and if you watch my older videos of effects, which I do every September, you will see that. With that being said, my blood supply was rather low, leaving me with pretty much I only had blood gel left and magic blood. So thank you for filling my blood bank. First off, I'm gonna give a little bit of a warning when it comes to blood that it might stain some clothing, and if you have like light blonde hair, especially if it was chemically lightened to light blonde, it also may turn your hair pink. It might not, but it probably will. So since this is my favorite blood of choice, I'm first going to be going over blood gel. Let me whip out some cold hard facts for you. Blood gel is a deep red glycerin-based blood that never dries, giving you the look of oozing, wet, thick blood. Washes off easily with blood and water. Soap and water. Blood and water, that'd be intense. And the reason that I do like blood gel is actually for that reason. I've always really liked darker colored bloods, and this is like, it's thick. It's a blood gel, exactly what it's called. I like this blood a lot for wounds because it more so just like sits in there. You can definitely get it to drip. I have a couple videos using this blood actually, which I will link around. But although it will drip down your face, if you do apply a thin enough layer, it's not gonna drip that bad. And I really feel like blood gel is very easy to control. Like you're not gonna put blood all over and then walk through your house and have it dripping behind you. Or all over your clothes, on your bedding, all over the shower curtain. So sorry for the blood mistakes I made when I was 18. One thing about blood that I will say is that when you are creating like fake wounds, or maybe not even creating, when you are using a prosthetic piece or some sort of wound, I don't like to necessarily cover up the work that is underneath with a bunch of blood. It kind of defeats the purpose of actually having the prosthetic, because if you're going to just slather something with blood just to make it look bloody, you might as well just take like some cotton balls, a little bit of liquid latex, and just make it look rough and cover it with blood. I like that with the blood gel, it looks like it's kinda almost oozing thick blood out of the wound as opposed to the entire wound bleeding, bloody, disastrous mess. And whenever I do get blood gel, I usually get it in this size, but you could also, whew, can get it in this size. This size is for people who are not messing around. Blood! This is extremely satisfying. Blood gel always has like that wet look to it also, so it's not like gonna dry in any sort of matte type way. And I do not suggest that you touch it throughout the night. Stage blood is where you start to get into more of the thinner bloods, which it also comes in this size and a big one. When it comes to stage blood, more than likely you're going to want the bigger one because it's a lot thinner. For comparison, stage blood is more of like, if you poke your finger, if you're diabetic, or if you're not diabetic and you get a paper cut and blood comes out, that's more what stage blood looks like. This is a water-based product, so you can also water it down to create like squirting things, like, oh, my arm! You can fill it into gel capsules for your mouth so you can bite into it and be like, or generally if you want to create a scene in which blood is spurting out. Which is why more than likely you're going to want to purchase the bigger one. And actually, I'm pretty sure this isn't even the biggest one. I'm 99% sure you can actually get an entire gallon. Gallons of blood! Blood paste is very thick, is very dark in color, and as you can guess, it is like a paste. Not as drippy and eventful. Best way I can describe the consistency of blood paste is literally like grape jelly. This is also another blood product that I use quite often. Reason being, it still looks like it's like wet, thick, nice, dark blood, but it's not going to drip. You can apply this with a stippling sponge, just stick your finger in it, and when I'm using stuff like this, I use it more so around like scabbed type areas, or if I just want to shove blood in a wound and I don't want it to drip and I just want it to just be bloody. If you're going out around Halloween, you don't want your blood to drip anywhere, I would say blood paste is a really good route to go. And so you guys can see a comparison of those three bloods. This would be stage blood. Here is blood gel, and here is blood paste. Which blood paste can also be as thick as this, but won't drip like blood gel. By far the absolute coolest blood is the Magic Blood powder, which I am absolutely in love with. The only complaint that I have about it is that I wish it was a darker red as opposed to like a really light red. But that's really simply just because I personally like really darker red blood, even though that's more so for like deep wounds, and this Magic Blood powder would be more if you were like scraping the surface. Definitely really good for some cool illusions on camera, which I may or may not be doing this Halloween. Really, really cool stuff. I personally think this is also really good if you're doing a scene in which you have to have someone like splattered with blood, like right in front of the camera, so you just spray them with water. Just like a quick spatter, like, and you just rub it on your skin, and once it's actually like on, you can't even see it. As soon as it gets wet, it turns red. Yeah, cool, I know. I'll show you, it's sick, watch. Pretty cool, right? So this little baby jar is definitely very cool. Like I said though, if Graftobian, hey, shout out, if you were to ever make a darker one of these, I would love it. A lot of these bloods you guys are also going to be seeing examples throughout Halloween, so don't be stressing. There's gonna be some blood examples for you. Next kind of blood that we have is the Effects Gelatin Blood, which they say is the heat and serve of gore makeup. That is disgusting. I love it. Creative. The Effects Gelatin Blood, I would say, is pretty good for Halloween. Reason being is that it does dry. It's a smidgen sticky, but you could always powder the top of it. Keep in mind that powdering the top of it will take the shine away though. And this type of blood you're actually going to peel off because it's gelatin. A warning that I will give about gelatin is that you do need to heat this product up. Otherwise, it's just like, it's solid, it's not going anywhere. So in order to actually get this to come out, you're going to want to take a hot bowl of water and then just let it sit in there. Make sure you have the cap open. Let it sit in there for like a few minutes, and then you will form a liquid. Be careful not to burn yourself. But it does have a warning on the package not to go over 150 degrees. So be careful, because you actually can burn yourself with this product if you have it too hot. And yes, I have put it on my skin very hot because I just did not care to pay attention. And like I said, because this product dries, it's not gonna continue to drip throughout the night, and once this does cool off is when it's going to dry. So yes, you do have a limited time to work with this product until you have to heat it up again. Also a very good blood. I feel like I'm saying all the blood types are good, but realistically they all have different uses, and it's really just a matter of preference, but yet at the same time, I would use them all. I really think the only thing that differentiates all of them is a matter of the coloring and what you're actually doing with the wound or blood, which I'm assuming is coming from a wound. Whether you're spitting it, oozing it, cutting into it, lightly, deeply, whatever effect you want to get. Effects Blood powder. You know when you see a really charred zombie that just like came out of a fire and he's got all the blood still in him because obviously he'd be bleeding before he died, but before he was charred, but everything's just in there. Blood powder on its own is actually very good to create burn makeups, except for you would also want to, I'll be right back. If you were doing a charred burn makeup, you'd also want to get black soot to mix in with these together. Effects Blood powder is exactly what you think it is. It is a powder. Now aside from being blood powder, you could also mix it with corn syrup for a thicker type blood, or water to create things for like gallons of blood that you could just splash all over. If you need a bucket of blood to be splashed on people, if you need blood to be splashed on the ground, you get blood, you get blood. Blood powder also has a matte finish. Now aside from actual blood products, you could also use some red face paint, which I personally, because I like the darker bloods, will mix it with a little bit of black face paint. I think that looks more realistic in my opinion. Remember, this is not going to shine and it's not going to be liquid like blood, but if you're just wanting to draw blood on, this works too. Get an Illustrator Effects, which is an alcohol-based palette. This is not made by Graftobian, it's made by PPI. It's also very good for blood. As you can see, my palette's a little bit of a mess, but these colors are alcohol activated, which means that it's also going to dry very quickly, and is both activated and removed with 99% alcohol. And to show you an example of what that would look like, because apparently I was mixing blood last time I used this, this is the kind of effect that it has. It's more of like a dried blood. This is also a very expensive palette, so I've said in previous videos, only get this palette if you really truly are going to be using it. It's not something that's gonna cover a large area. I use it more for like inside little cuts or things like that. As far as other painting effects go for blood, you could also use the Effects Aire Blood Blister and Clotted Red. I knew I had it back there. It's a water alcohol hybrid, so it's easy to get off, but it also stays on for quite a bit. It goes through my airbrush like no problem. I've never had to clog it. I've never had to clog it. No. I have never clogged it, and I've never had to water down this product. Like, it just I love it. So you can also use these two colors in your airbrush and just do kind of like a splatter effect. Actually, you could probably use them on your own if you really wanted to just kind of like flick it on. Or obviously you can do whatever you want with an airbrush. You can get it in cuts, things like that. And if you're going to be using a Blood Blister, they also make a rubber mask grease paint that is also called Blood Blister. Oh my god, look how new it is. It's so new, it's untouched. Isn't that just so satisfying when you just see a brand new product that has not been touched yet? It just looks so smooth. Anyways, this is the same color as the Blood Blister airbrush paint, so you can also use this on foam latex and latex appliances. The rubber mask grease is not something that I use so much since I don't really do that much prosthetic work, but you can use the Effects Aire Blood Blister to cover up most of your areas, and then you can get in like cracks and crevices using the grease. Those are all the different types of blood, which like I said, you guys are gonna be seeing me use majority of these products around Halloween time. And I know a lot of you guys have been asking me to do special effects videos. Every September I do an entire series on effects. All September long. It's coming. It's on its way. Let me know in the comments below what other products you guys want to know more about before this Halloween season hits. And if you enjoyed this video or found this video helpful, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and share it with other people that will also find it useful. Or just want to watch a girl talk about blood, which is a little weird. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to write them in the comments below.